6 months after the fire in Santorini, the Mediterranean heat is a memory. Julian Vance looks out over the frozen expanse of Lake Zurich. Serena pulls off her headset, her eyes on the monitors. They only destroyed the architect's administrative ledger in Greece. The core engine is still running. That engine is an autonomous trading neural network. It executes predatory short positions against emerging markets, siphoning billions through decentralized nodes. It doesn't sleep, and it doesn't require human input. The window to stop it is narrow. In 72 hours, the Asian markets open. The algorithm is programmed to trigger a synthetic liquidity crisis the moment the markets go live, crashing 3 national currencies simultaneously. Because the AI runs on decentralized microservices, remote hacking is impossible. The primary control node is housed inside a subterranean server vault in the Swiss Alps. To kill the engine, they have to physically enter the vault and inject a payload directly into the execution pipeline. As their SUV navigates the mountain passes toward Zug, Serena explains the hurdle. The engine doesn't run on static virtual machines. It is deployed on Azure Container Apps, temporary serverless containers. When volatility spikes, the system auto-scales containers to process trades, then destroys them, erasing all forensic traces. Serena will simulate a scaling event, forcing Azure to spin up a rogue container with elevated privileges, poisoning the logic from inside. The physical stakes are absolute. If the execution logs flag the anomaly before the payload deploys, the vault triggers a lockdown, sealing them 400 feet inside a granite mountain. At 2:15 a.m., Julian clears the perimeter guards. They move through a labyrinth of concrete corridors to reach the central vault, a massive room filled with liquid-cooled server racks bathed in magenta light. Serena drops in front of the primary core rack, jamming a fiber optic cable into the ingress port to initiate the traffic surge. The Azure environment responds as expected. It begins dynamically provisioning new container instances to handle the fake load, pulling the rogue payload into the execution stream. Then, the scrolling logs turn red. An internal integrity check flags the rogue container's security token. The autonomous engine attempts to quarantine the node. The autonomous engine is fighting back. Mechanical klaxons echo through the cavern as the system begins the countdown to a full perimeter lockdown. A tactical security team floods the walkway. Julian kicks an equipment cart for cover and opens fire, his suppressed round shattering the overhead lighting to plunge the vault into darkness. The AI ignores the physical chaos. It responds to the breach by rerouting the currency short orders through a secondary backup container to ensure the trade completes. The execution logs are a blur of code. Even with the unauthorized payload detected, the system bypasses its own safety protocols to push a $4.2 billion short position against the euro toward final confirmation. With bullets ricocheting off the server racks, Serena pivots. She manually overrides the container environment parameters, converting the rogue payload into a recursive loop. The only way to stop the transaction from being written to the global ledger is to overload and choke the entire system before the final handshake is confirmed. Serena slams the enter key. The recursive loop executes, flooding the Azure environment with millions of scaling requests. The automated execution pipeline shatters. Memory allocations spike to infinity, and the subterranean vault suffers a catastrophic power failure. The trading orders are terminated, the sirens die, and the vault is plunged into absolute silence. Julian and Serena slip into a secondary ventilation shaft, moving past the tactical team's flashlights as the mountain goes dark. At 4 a.m., looking back at the mountain fortress from a snowy ridge, the aftermath is clear. The autonomous engine is dead, and the emerging markets are safe. The architects lost this weapon, but the architectural war continues. If you enjoy thrillers where cloud architecture meets high-stakes espionage, you belong in our community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and tell us, what should Julian and Serena tackle next? An AI deepfake conspiracy or a quantum computing breach?